Hi, well, we're back again looking at our tree, and in this video segment we want to compare the Christian compared to a materialist or an atheist in terms of their tree structure and see what we can learn about the two systems and how they compare or how they line up to each other. If you've seen some of the other videos, you might remember that Christianity tells us that we were made in God's image to have a relationship with God. We found out that if we have this relationship with God, the present tense purpose of a believer is to thrive in that relationship. And then finally, the future is that on planet Earth we can trust God since He has saved us and we're walking in fellowship with Him, that we have a future on Earth where we're serving God, doing His will, and then when we die, that He takes us to heaven through Christ's sacrifice on the cross, and on the basis of that, the resurrection, that He guarantees us a home in heaven. And so when we have that kind of a healthy root system, and we think long and hard about that root system, well then we're going to feel the way God wants us to feel. And then finally, when God empowers us and renews us and keeps us strong emotionally, then behavior is never really an issue. We want to do what God wants us to do. And so we have obedience patterns up here. We have all kinds of things. We see the fruit of the Spirit in our lives. And so that is what a normal Christian person should be looking like and functioning. Now, we want to look at and compare what the materialist or an atheist or a secularist, whatever term you want to use, a humanist, how their tree will function, and let's see how it compares. So, what does a materialist or an atheist say about their past? Where did human beings come from? Well, if they're evolutionists, and that's about the only story that fits their model, their framework for their religious system, if they believe in evolution, well then, human beings are a cosmic accident. They were born in the cosmic soup, lightning struck it, up popped the living organism, and through billions of years that these simple organisms became more complex and more complex. They evolved into vegetables and animals and then human beings, and so we're on this very slow upward climb. And so we've got that past tense story to describe the past, the foundations of humanity. Well, if that's the case, then what do materialists or atheists say is our present tense purpose on planet Earth? Well, they really don't have one. We're a biological accident. We're here by a freak of nature of something, and so there is no real purpose for our lives. And so they cannot really adequately make the case between living as the town drunk or living as the one who's going to find a cure for cancer. There really isn't any difference, because in the end, in the future, all they have to look forward to is death. And what happens at death? Well, the body goes in the ground, it decays, you become maggot food, if you will, and so they just are rotting in the grave. There's no purpose, there's no hope of a heaven after that, there's no fear of a hell after that. And so this is really, you could just sum this up from a material point of view of just saying it is a purposeless existence. And so if that is your root system as a materialist or an atheist, then you start to think about that. If you think long and hard about this kind of a root system, is that going to help you to have any kind of functioning in the earth, on the planet Earth, when this is all you've got to start with? And the answer is no. There's no real consistent thinking patterns that you would want to do except to try to live a kind of an existential experience, try to make the best of it. And that's really all the best they can do. And making the best of it is sort of like nailing Jell-O to a tree. It just doesn't have any purpose to us. Why should I even try to think about it? Well, okay, how do you deal with emotional upheavals, and how is your emotional state if you're an atheist? Well, it's going to be up and down, it's going to be back and forth, depending upon how circumstances hit you and how you respond to that. You're going to have different opportunities. You're going to have more opportunities in some, but less opportunities in other. So you might get bitter, you might get angry if life doesn't deal with you a full deck of cards, and you see other people prospering around you and you're not. You have nowhere to go. You have no one to appeal to. You have no hope, no future, and anything like that. And so, if you're an atheist materialist, what kind of behavior can we expect out of people with this kind of tree structure? Well, we can't really expect too much. Now, the people who do make a name for themselves, make successful, do good things, but there is nothing really good or bad in a materialistic framework, but the things that other people might call good, there are some people who do that. But it's in opposition to their structure, because they have no purpose down here. They can't justify that up here, and so they may be doing it just out of an existential way. I'm going to make the best of it as I can, the way I understand best, as a materialist, and so I'm going to do what I can, but you can see that any kind of decent behavior, decent lifestyles up here does not come from an inadequate root system. They have to build that into the equation. They have to add it on because it does not exist down here. And in essence, even if they are doing good things, they're really belying their foundation and their root system. So you can see the inconsistencies that atheists have to live with every single day. When they get up in the morning, they have trouble just thinking through the issues, trying to feel good, trying to find something worthwhile to do. But in the Christian model, we see that because we have God as our root source, and we're supposed to be thriving in our relationship, we're not alone in the world, contrary to what a materialist might say, that we have purpose, and so we can think clearly, we can feel well, and we can be zealous about the things that we're going to do to give honor to the Lord. I hope this pattern helps. I hope you see the difference between Christianity and materialism and atheism. Thanks.